Okay.
Brendan, ready when you are.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, I'm just. There we go. Okay. Welcome. Thank you for everybody's patience, and we're going to start the Lake Worth Beach CRA regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 9th, 2021 at 6 p.m.
Leah,
Is it me?
mute your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Roll call, please. Emily.
Brendan Lynch,
Present.
Mark Rickards,
Here.
Mr. Tom Copeland is not present. Mr. John Paxman,
Present.
Mr. Brent Whitfield,
Present.
Mr. Drew Bartlett,
Present.
and Miss Leah Furch.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emily. Is there any additions or deletions or reordering? We're gonna do it? Okay. All right. I apologize. We're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Right now? Okay. Okay, thank you, David.
Good evening, everyone. David Tulsa's Port Attorney. These are the findings and procedures for the public meeting being held by the Lake Worth Beach Community Redevelopment Agency tonight, February 9th, 2021. The Lake Worth Beach Community Redevelopment Agency is holding a public meeting tonight due to the state of emergency in Palm Beach County and the need to limit capacity at the CRA's meeting location. The CRA is providing the public with the ability to observe the meeting via Zoom. In order to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the CRA's clients and employees, the CRA finds it is in the best interest of the CRA, its officials, employees, and members of the public to limit the in-person attendance to only CRA commissioners and employees. The public meeting will take place at Hatch 1121 Lucerne Avenue, Lake Worth Beach, Florida. However, the building will remain closed to the public. A copy of the agenda for this virtual meeting is posted outside the CRA offices and on the CRA's website, www.lakeworthcra.org. Any comments with a 3-minute limit related to any item on the agenda or non-agenda items can be submitted to the CRA no later than 5 p.m. on Monday, February 8th via the CRA's email address, which is etheodosarcos@lakeworthbeachflorida.gov. You can join the Zoom meeting. Meeting ID number is 871-8231-0978. The passcode is 563892. If you need to dial in, you can dial 301-715-8592. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
David, thank you. We will move on to the agenda. Any additions, deletions, or reordering? Seeing none, public comment on non-agenda items, please. Emily, are you going to read those into the record?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mary Ellen Healy, 323 South Federal Highway, Apartment 11. I live in the downtown Jewel neighborhood. I live in a historic district. This comment is about the proposed CRA public meeting on the L&M project. I feel that written comment on this project is not sufficient public input. I'd like the public meeting to be more of a forum where conversation can take place. When can we expect the proposed public meeting to take place and in what format? Thank you. Vincent Cerniglia, 323 South Federal Highway. My name is Vincent Cerniglia and I reside at 323 South Federal Highway. I write this note as I have serious concerns regarding the proposed development of a 124 apartment, 5-floor building plus 4-story garage. I am hoping that there be some kind of public hearing on this new project. I watched a Lake Worth Beach City Commission meeting last week, and the mayor stated that there was no such project. Is it semantics that there is no project until after it is a winning bid from the CRA and it clears the Historic Preservation Board? It would seem to me much more transparency is called for. The city bought parcels of land for the express purpose of a perceived parking issue in the downtown corridor and spent penny sales tax to obtain them. They have turned over this property to you, and it would appear that only parking being created is for future residents of the element while increasing the traffic and still not having any parking relief. In addition, a 5-story edifice in back of Lake Avenue would dwarf the surrounding structures and only be like the Lucerne, which was itself inappropriate for the rest of the surrounding architecture. It would appear that rather than enhancing or reflecting the historic downtown with a suitable project, the CRA seems bent on reforming the downtown into some foreign landscape with insufficient infrastructure to accommodate it, and inappropriate use of penny sales tax. I believe public hearings on this need to held for the residents of this city to determine its future, rather than a boon for developers and landlords. Cliff Kohlmeyer, 503 First Avenue South. Dear board members, I am a member of the Downtown Jewel Neighborhood Association and own a home within 400 feet of the properties owned by the CRA between South L and M Streets. I would like to know if the CRA stands by the comments of Mayor Triolo at last week's commission meeting that the sites must be used for public parking as originally intended when acquired by the penny sales tax. This would not be my preference, but we seem to be getting mixed signals now. By her and Commissioner Maxwell's repeated reference to public objections to William Waters' initial prototype more than a year before the RFP was awarded, the inference is that the element is no longer under consideration by the CRA. This would be good news for the city. On the other hand, the commission may be using the out-of-date drawing as a straw man, a deliberate diversion of public attention away from the actual RFP award winner, which is nearly just devoid of architectural value. At its last meeting, the CRA committed to sponsoring a public meeting on this issue. My neighborhood association has yet to hear from the CRA or the developer. The success of the project will depend on public support. To this end, it would behoove the CRA to engage the services of a professional AICP certified urban planner with experience in public meetings and charrettes to conduct a public meeting charrette that would allow Lake Worth Beach residents to share ideas and goals for the downtown, and for the organizer to publish the ideas in a public report to be submitted to the CRA and the city. Tom Conboy, 30 South M. Honorable CRA Board and Madam CRA Executive Director. At the last CRA board meeting, the CRA director mentioned in her comments a public meeting to be held to discuss the Element project on either the 11th of February or the 18th of February. There is no mention of this public meeting on today's agenda. Is this meeting still on? How do we get more information on the format, location, and date of the meeting? Has the Downtown Jewel Neighborhood Association been communicated with regarding this meeting? Can we have the ability for the community to interactively communicate during this meeting, or will a public interaction be submitted in advance? If it is to be submitted in advance, is that a good way to encourage public interaction? How can the board and CRA staff provide better communication with residents, property owners, and other interested parties? As an aside, the attack on those providing public comment at the last meeting from one or two board members during their comments at the end of the meeting was extremely unprofessional and inappropriate. Just because there was virtually no public involvement and comments submitted on the MID and several other CRA projects does not mean that they should not be a part of the process where our government is making deals with developers on land owned by the public. That's all for public comment tonight. Thank
Emily,
you.
thank you. Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from January 12th, 2021.
I make the motion. John Paxman.
Thanks, John. A second, please?
This is Brent. I'll second.
Thanks, Brett. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Onto the consent agenda. I'll take a motion to move the consent agenda, please.
So moved.
Thanks, John.
Who made the motion?
John Paxman.
Yeah, Paxman, sorry.
I'll second, Brent.
Brent, second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say so by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Action agenda, item A, CRA facade grant, 1029 North Dixie Highway. Review and determine funding. Chris?
Yeah, hi, this is Chris DeBrose, Lakeworth CRA. We're gonna have two commercial grants presented to you tonight. We'll do the first one as 1029 North Dixie Highway. You may be familiar with this property. It was a retail lighting store just a few years ago. It's been sitting vacant. Last year, the property was purchased by Scott Berman, who also owns the block just to the north of it, the 1100 block on the west side of Dixie Highway. This building was built in 1951. It's about 4,800 square feet, and it's had multiple uses throughout its life. But like I said, it has been vacant for the past few years. He purchased it, and he is looking to expand his business, his primarily the window business just to the north of it, into this structure. No repairs or upkeep has really been done the past few years. He's proposing to put in all new impact window and doors. There's about 35 windows and doors altogether. Also painting and fixing up the facade, the stucco of the building as well, to encourage the employment, better use of the building. So last month he applied for a CRA commercial facade grant, requesting the full amount of $25,000 in matching funds. He's proposing to put over $50,000 into the project, 25 from us and 25 plus from himself. So you guys do have your his application in your packet to hopefully reviewed it. If you have any questions, let me know. Scott is on the line also. And just as you may recall, also the CRA did give him funding for the buildings to the north a couple of years ago. We gave about $35,000 in incentive funds for the projects that he renovated in 2017. Scott's on the phone. Otherwise, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Chris, it's John Paxman.
Yes.
This was the old Sewell's, right?
I don't know.
I drove by. It looked like the old Sewell's hardware building.
Yeah, it was the hardware, then it was the lighting operation, the lighting chandelier store after that. But yeah, it was the hardware store before that, yes.
All right. I'd just like to say that I thought that the job that the applicant did on the block to the north of that was fantastic. Looks really together. It fits in really nicely with the vibe of the city. You know, it didn't get cinched up or anything like that. And I would be in favor of this grant because it's going to look and have a kind of a more uniform look to it too.
John, is that a motion?
I could make a motion. I move that we approve a $25,000 facade grant for the applicant.
Okay, thank you. We will have an opportunity to talk on the motion. It's just, so we have a motion. Is anybody able to second that?
I'll second the motion. That's Brent.
Thanks, Brent. Okay, now if anyone can feel free to ask questions of Chris or the applicant.
Mr. Chair, I have a few.
Oh, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
This is for the applicant. Just a couple quick questions, and it's more curiosity than anything else. There's a residential unit on the second floor I see on the floor plan. Are you also going to make that a unit and rent it out, or are you keeping that closed up? And then my second question is, there's just a dumpster all by itself on the side, and I understand it's an old property. I'm just wondering if there's any plans to put a enclosure or something that dresses that up a little bit.
On the first question, the problem with the unit on the second story is there's a plumbing issue that we're looking to resolve. And that will the cost of that will determine whether we're gonna put that unit in, to redo the unit upstairs or not. If I had to guess right now, I would say we may. It's not really the primary use. In terms of the dumpster, there's a gated area in the back of the building, which I'm certainly happy to move the dumpster to. I can do it as soon as tomorrow. But there's really no place to put the dumpster outside of that gated area due to the adjacent properties, parking requirements. We're sort of stuck, but I'll move it back if you prefer. I have no problem with that.
No, I'm not necessarily telling you to. It's always the issue on some of these older sites right on Dixie. No place to put trash. I understand. The only extra comment I'll make, and this is more for the board for future reference. This is a good example of a property. If you look at some of the pictures that, has no shade trees out front, is just straight sidewalk from the front door to the street. And sir, I'm not saying this is on you. I just think these are the kinds of properties that I think would benefit greatly from a shade tree with enough room to grow, not a 8-foot tall tababuya, but something that would actually provide shade. I'm just saying that for the record. But thank you, sir, for the feedback.
You're welcome.
Can you just state your name for the record, please, Scott?
Scott Berman.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
John Paxman, I'd like to comment.
Sure.
I didn't see the survey. I don't know if there was a survey in there, but I own one of those properties that's like 10 feet from Dixie Highway, about 8 blocks, 9 blocks north of this location, and also on a corner, like this building is on a corner. And the Department of FDOT actually usually owns 10 or 12 feet of sidewalk in front, and there's also a visibility corner that's a arc radius on most of these properties. I have the same thing in my property, and it's try to get them to let you plant a tree in it. I'm not making excuses, but it took me 5 months to be able to put an awning on my building.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor?
Public comment.
Oh, I thought.
Well, did you? You're right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sure. All those in favor, please state so by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir, for your investment in our city.
Thank you for doing a good job.
Thank you,
Look
Mr.
forward to
Berman.
working with you guys. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Stay safe.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, action agenda item B, CRA Public Infrastructure Improvement Grant. Review and determine funding. Chris?
Okay, this is for the Allura project on Lake Avenue. It was submitted by, it's a public infrastructure grant program, grant application, which you guys haven't seen in a while. It was submitted by the owner, Jeff Mercier, but I'm trying to see if he's online. And if he's not, then.
Chris.
You there, Jeff? You're under
Yeah,
iPhone,
I'm
right?
here.
Okay, thanks. Hold on one second. I'll gonna go ahead and give a brief description. So at 117 Lake Avenue, there's a vacant lot there now. Everyone's familiar with the one next door. That was built by Sundream Development. Sundream Development has purchased the vacant lot at 117 and is proposing to build the Allura project, which is going to be a similar project. It's on the lot is 1/3 of an acre, but it's going to be a new high-end residential condominium mixed-use project, 900 square feet of ground floor commercial space, 12 residences above that, also with on-site parking. The applicant, Sundream Development, represented by Jeff Mercier, submitted the public infrastructure grant application last month. Those of you that don't know what this grant is, it's up to $100,000 in funding for any project that comes to Lake Worth with a commercial component, which has a value of over $2 million. This project, they propose that this project is going to cost close to $3 million. These funds from the CRA can only be used for assistance with public infrastructure improvements such as sidewalks, roads, lighting, utility relocation, utility upgrades. This project is going to require significant underground utility relocation and also repairs and upgrades to the sidewalks and roadway on Lake and Palmway. So as I mentioned, they did submit an application last month for $100,000 in funding from the CRA. Jeff Mercer's on the phone. We did give for those of you that don't know, a couple years ago, we gave the $100,000, the exact same grant to the one project to help with the development of that project. Jeff's on the phone right now representing Sundream, the developer of this project and the grant applicant, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Let's start off with questions from the board, please, and then we can move forward with a motion. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Mercier?
So which budget line, this might be for staff, which budget line does this come from? 100,000.
There should be, it's going to be coming from the same line item as the other commercial grants. I'll pull it up. I don't have the copy of the budget.
So I got commercial.
It could come from the same line item as the facade grants.
475.
Correct.
Okay. And so this is 100,000 of that. Is that, I don't know what the demand is right now for these, but is it, I mean, is it common for a $100,000 grant to come out of this line item?
Drug, I need you to repeat that. I can't understand.
Sorry. So it's 100,000 out of the $475,000 line. But what I don't know is the demand for that. So it's like a demand of applicants for right.
I've got to come over there.
Yes, I can repeat it.
Go ahead. I can't. It's all garbled here.
Okay, no worries. The question is, and correct me if I'm wrong, the question is that is this a typical request from this particular line item, considering that it's close to 25% of our total for the whole year? And can you address what the demand is like for these grants?
Yeah, well, it's not typical. This would only be the third one that we've given out in the past 3 or 4 years. So we gave one to the one project. We gave a $50,000 or $75,000 public infrastructure grant to the Starbucks project, and this would be the third one. So there's not a high demand, and as far as being presented to the board like this, again, this is only the third one in the past 3 or 4 years.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board for either Chris or the applicant? Sorry, if anyone is online, if you could just unmute and say my name or whatever, because I'm not seeing the video every time. I just have a question in regards to the project that you've built. How was the demand? Are you completely, as a developer, have you sold all those units, or are you still selling them?
We currently have only one residence left for sale, and that's because we hold that residence for to keep it as a model. So yes, it was pretty successful because we only have one left. And as far as Aloras go, we're a little bit over 50% sold already. So there's definitely a big change, and you can tell a lot of people are excited about the city of Lake Worth Beach. We are also, and yeah, so it's doing well right now.
I'm glad to learn that. Thank you. That particular building was 14 units?
The one was 14 units, correct.
Okay.
Can you just state your name for the record?
Jeff Mercier.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone? I'm not seeing any requests to comment, so I'll take a motion, please.
I move we approve the $100,000 grant to the applicant.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, John, Pat, and Leah.
I have a comment.
Okay,
This is Paxman. This is Paxman again. I thought that the one project really looks better even than what it was supposed to look like. And I hope this one is as nice as that at least. So I look forward to seeing it come out of the ground.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments before we go to vote? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, thank you for your investment in Lake Worth Beach.
Thank you very much. Really excited to be a part of it. And there's a lot of changes happening, and we've seen it, and we're really happy about it. You guys are doing a really good job.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, moving on to the executive director's report.
Thank you, Brendan. As you remember, we talked probably a few weeks ago about approving 1213 Lake Avenue. The objective was to use this building if we didn't get any other proposals for space for inner city innovators, for youth mentoring, and also to create some Lula rentable workspaces upstairs. We did advertise in the paper for the 30 days for the notice for disposition. We did not receive any proposals, so we're going to move forward with the plan of what we had discussed just a few weeks ago. Also happy to report we have new banners going up on Dixie Highway. A lot of them have already been installed, if you've noticed. We have a new development brochure that's under construction right now. We're probably going to be ready to print on that this Friday. I'm also happy to report staff was able to get 2 more grants. These are for Day of the Dead and also some reimbursement for COVID. And this brings our grant total up to $35.3 million over the last 12 years. Not bad. The mid grand opening is scheduled for March 4th at 5:30, so please mark your calendars. Also, the Bohemian started demo on the parking lot just across the street from us here on Lake Avenue earlier this week. And certainly not last but not least, we are still working on the public meeting for the Element downtown. We were trying to target a Thursday because that seems to be the day that most people are available. We're going to try to do it this February, the last Thursday in March. We're still coordinating with the neighborhood group and also the developer on that. So as soon as I have a date and a time, we will certainly let everybody, including the public, know well ahead of time when we will have that Zoom meeting. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Let's go with board member comments. I'll start with Leah.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
No worries.
All right. Sorry again for being late. Fantastic news on the grants. That's really amazing. Great work. And that's basically what I have.
Thank you. Brent?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I agree. Great work on the grants. Excited to hear about the mid-grand opening. I love these grants that go to Dixie and downtown as far as improving facades and redevelopment. I think that's a great use of our time and energies. And just happy to be a part. And I'm looking forward to that public meeting for the element. I think it is important.
Thanks, Brent. Drew?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So
I do think
that
the whole
public meeting for the element, I'm glad Joe gave us an update on that. Obviously, in these times.
Hold on, let me turn this down.
Okay.
Okay.
So obviously,
you know,
I've been in government my entire career, and you go through campaign seasons. You know, it's always the most uncomfortable thing.
It's always the most uncomfortable thing when your agency becomes the subject.
I've been there with the state government.
I've been there with the state government, federal government, and
I
not
took over
currently in my government, but I took over after a
campaign was very much about
and
transparency.
the campaign was very much about transparency in my current job.
And so we've had to do a lot of work to sort of.
And so we've had to do a lot of
try to
work
overcome that.
try to overcome that talking point,
And
if you
so
will. And
one
so
of the things that I would
one of the things that I would offer
is that us
is that us commissioners, we do have a
in
role
that whole process.
in that whole
I
process.
certainly,
And I
I live in
a
the
neighborhood association.
I think
and
that only
I
me
think
going
that
to a neighborhood
me going to
association
a
meeting
neighborhood
as a CRA
association meeting as a CRA
commissioner
commissioner
updates
and giving
at
updates
that neighborhood
at that
association
neighborhood
meeting on
association meeting
doing what's going
what's going on,
on,
because
we do
we do
really
really
good
good
stuff,
stuff,
right?
right?
The
The
element
element
came
came
about
out at a time that is
now
now sort of the front and center
of
of
what we're doing.
that is being
That is
managed
being managed just like the city charges us to manage it.
Very
I'm
glad
very glad that we're having a
on
public
it.
meeting on it. That's something we talked about from the beginning.
And I think that dialogue just needs to continue, and it will continue when it comes back to the CRA. It'll continue when it goes to the commission. And that's a good thing, that's positive. So
as
we
we
as
as
commissioners
commissioners are out sort
talking
of
to people and so forth, I certainly will, and I encourage all of us to take an opportunity to engage those neighbors, let them know what we're doing, not in a campaign style, just in a transparency style. Give them your phone number, say call me when you need to. But you know, the one thing that we need to be proud of what we're doing. Not shameful. It's not shameful. It's just how we engage the public. And
Could
so
you fix the audio?
I will certainly take that on.
And I just wanted to kind of make those as a public comment, because it's something I lived through as a government employee myself. So it's a way to do these things, and I know all of our commissioners are open to talk any kind of dialogue at any time. And so reach out to us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Drew. I know there was, some people had some issues with the audio. So I'll let Mark go, and then maybe I'll just restate a little bit of what you said, because I feel the same way. Mark.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to say that whether it's 12 years or 20 years or 50 years, bringing $35 million to the city of Lake Worth Beach is a game changer. Like, it's very impressive. And some of those grants are, you know, $50,000 at a time, and some were a lot larger, but that's some really good work, and that makes a huge difference. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mark. Now, these are my words, but I think some of the sentiment will be reflective of what Drew was saying, and I know it was a little bit tricky to hear. I do believe that, you know, unfortunately in our society, that negative news travels far and fast, and positive news can't keep up. I think we do a tremendous amount of good work, and I think that it's important to also get that message out. I know that those that are willing, you know, the CRA commissioners, to go to your neighborhood association. You know, I actually did this for South Palm Park, and the CRA staff can provide you with a lot of good handouts, even some swag, some pens, and some really cool stuff to hand out. And they'll give you some visuals that you can put up, like showing our boundaries and maybe even some of the projects we've helped. And you know, it's a pretty easy, casual setting. They don't tend to hit you with too difficult questions. And you know, it's a great way to get that message out that you know, the CRA is really doing a lot of good things with public money for our city. So, you know, all of that is my comments, but I think some of it overlapped a little bit, I hope, with what Drew said. So thank you, everyone,
Hello.
for
Hello,
joining. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
John, apologize.
I think, you know, with Drew's comments, which I couldn't hear at all, it kind of underscores the need for us maybe to have a little bit of a better video conferencing system. I mean, I know the COVID at some point may just go away-ish, but we could always use that for other important things where we have consultants and we're putting together things that we're trying to do. And it may be something we can look into for our budget to maybe budget for it, because it was annoying to me and I'm sure it was annoying to the public. The other thing that I would like to, two other things. The one thing I'd like to say is, like, you know, we talked about 35 point something million in grants over the last since in the last 12 years. You know, the grant is one thing, but all that grant money is leveraged. So there's 35 point something million in grants, but that 35 point something million in grants leverages out to much larger numbers of economic development in the city of Lake Worth Beach. And, you know, every dollar makes more dollars, and all those dollars help us increase our tax base, help us eliminate blight. They help us in our mission. And the last thing I'd like to say is, like, on our consent agenda, and it may not have been readily something that was immediately noticed by maybe some of the folks who have attended the meeting from the public, but our consent agenda item was basically, we're trying to do a better outreach. We are going to spend some money to do outreach to citizens, businesses, officials of Lake Worth Beach. And that's what that item is. And then, you know, we've heard the message that, you know, some folks don't think we do that enough, and we're going to spend the money to try to help that along. And, you know, from professionals who can help us do it. And also, you know, to see if that everything can be done as a better job so that everyone feels that they're properly informed with everything. And that's one of the things we're going to do that with that consent agenda item. And I hope everyone appreciates that, you know, they've been heard. So anyway, thank you very much. Everyone stay safe.
John, thank you. And I apologize for unintentionally skipping you.
Nobody loves me. My Klingon insignia.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a nice evening.